Welcome back to What About This Idea?
Yeah, welcome back.
What about this idea?
What about this idea? So,
What about this
what did we
idea?
do during the break to prepare for the second half?
You know, we talked
Don't lie.
about, okay, so
I'm gonna
this
be
is what-
honest.
I know you are, and that's what scares me most of the time, is that we talked a little bit about, I think you have had some big ideas,
I have?
about me getting my voice out there
Oh, yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah.
And I think I have in general been kind of shy about it.
I think
like
you are.
who would want to listen to what I have to say?
I think you have a little block there.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to work it out here on
goddamn.
right here on prime time. In front of our millions and millions of live audience
Amoebas.
viewers. Yep. Lots and lots of single-celled organisms out there. Okay, so what happened is, you got a message from me on LinkedIn, and I introduced you to a journalist who I do not know. I did not meet this person, but I read an article last week in the business section of our local newspaper, the Star Tribune. Thank you.
No, they're called something different now.
What?
Yeah, they're called like Star Tribune of Minnesota or
What?
yeah.
It's
they
still the
rebranded.
Star Trib.
I know, you can use that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's my whole life it's been the Star Tribune.
Okay,
and the St.
nothing
Paul
is
Pioneer
changing.
Press. Okay,
but
good.
they did rebrand,
Yeah.
and it has rearranged the words there.
Really? Mm-hmm. I will have to look into that. Mm-hmm. So, being, what is it? Is it because you're Minnesotan? I mean, I know you identify as Wisconsinite kind of these days, but you're...
Definitely, but in this sense, Minnesota and Wisconsin are nearly identical
They
in their
do.
way of not wanting to.
Southern Wisconsin, Milwaukee area, they're a little bolder.
They're a little bolder. They get down in that Chicago area.
Yeah.
It's like big city, big ideas, big push on who you are.
Yep.
I think.
What are we talking about?
This will come as a surprise, right?
Should we define it clearly? You are a little bit afraid to get to have someone recognize your awesomeness. To be recognized
That is
for...
not the way I would describe it at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not even close?
I think
Nailed
it's
it.
pretty not
Woo!
close. No, you didn't. I think it's much more about imposter syndrome.
Okay.
I think it's much more about, I have these things that I know and things that I'm passionate about and things that I have studied that I know is the right realm for change. And, I put that whole power and love in that Venn diagram and I get all excited about that stuff. And then I feel like if someone were to ask me questions, I feel like I might be pretty shallow about the answer.
You mean someone being a journalist?
Maybe I don't have, like, what is it they want to hear that I have to say? I mean, there's stuff that I say that's like, okay, like Cliff Clavin. Okay, I'm dating myself.
No shit.
Cliff Clavin from Cheers.
Yeah.
He would just say, he was a smart guy, but he would just say random facts. They were never really associated with anything, right?
Right.
But once in a while, Cliff Clavin would have a thing that he would say that was right on, perfectly timed,
Okay.
exactly right in the situation. And so I'm not sure I know the thing that is exactly right in the situation. And so...
Wow, that's complex. No, it's really fucking complex. Like, that's what concerns you when it comes to like getting some press about you and your business? Is that you might say something that's sort of shallow or something? Here you are, you can speak in front of people. Press is like you're dancing.
Baby.
Because you can speak in front of people. You've been a professor.
Yeah.
You've been like a speaker.
Yes.
Correct? Mm-hmm. I didn't know you during that era.
Mm-hmm. I was amazing. Yeah.
Sure, I bet you were.
No.
Well, and you did. I mean, you did things in other parts of the world. You were speaking and whatnot, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Not everyone can do that. That's a pretty impressive thing, right? And now you've started this new business. Mm-hmm. And one thing that would, it's helpful for your business. It's a real shot in the arm sometimes if a thing like the Star Tribune gives you a little nod. Mm-hmm. And their business section whoever writes for that, like, they need stories. The stories don't just come to them, right? There's a lot of stories out there. Someone needs to prompt them to say, you should look into this, right? Because this is a pretty cool thing that's happening or whatever, right? But you're a little shy about the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Yeah, you'll do this.
That is not a word that's usually associated with me.
No,
right?
true.
Like
True.
I do, I think I just need to learn how it happens. You know, even when I had my previous business, I was on the news all the time talking about what we were trying to do. I was on the news. I was in the.
What were you saying on the news?
Well, I was talking about, so the work that we did was regional. A lot of times it was regional work. Like, let me give you an example. We had
I remember this.
Like an 18-month gig in West Cork, Ireland, which turns out is amazing. If you like food and wine.
18-month gigs in West Cork.
I know, let's go there. Why not?
Yeah, just abandon the family.
Yeah, listen, we got a gig. But every month for about 18 months, I went to Ireland. And we went to different parts of West Cork and brought them together on a common message about them being the foodie area and how to maximize on that and who they are and how the power of all their fish swimming in one way, it helps, right?
Yep.
And so we would have to go on the news and talk about the power.
This is the Irish news?
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't here on the American news.
No,
so
well, I had these kinds of gigs all over. I had them in Nevada, and I had it in
Ireland,
Oregon,
Nevada, Oregon,
Canada, Idaho, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Okay, so you did have some where people who knew you might see it.
Yeah, people did see it. Yeah, people I knew saw it, but they didn't care. I mean, it was like, it's not like It was. You know how they say 15 minutes of fame?
Yeah.
It was like 0.02 seconds of fame.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Like I would feel the same. You know, like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You know.
And my business partner had been doing a lot more speaking than I had, and he was nurturing in the way that we would complement the message. But I was never uncomfortable about it. I was never uncomfortable about doing a keynote or being paid a lot to do a keynote. I was never uncomfortable about that. But putting me on the front of a magazine, like, I'm not sure I have something bold enough for a magazine cover.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying that. Like, I know it's going to be a digital thing, but you know, like in my world, it used to be.
I just don't know what.
I mean, maybe Vogue wants me.
I don't want to say that they
the
don't.
Chubby series.
You gotta.
Come on.
Oh, ouch.
That didn't hurt. I'm okay.
All right. I would get slapped or.
No, you can't say it.
Yeah.
But I can say it.
If I said that, it'd be hell to pay.
Exactly.
No, I'm just wondering what the difference is because it's like, it's one of those things that as a business owner, right? So this is still about entrepreneurship lightly. In a roundabout way.
I mean, either way, if it's not the person in your business that you need to sell a message for, it's a thing that you need to sell a message for.
Yeah. And there's something about this. Every
there's a block for me.
Every time I brought it up, there's the same.
And I'd be like, hey, what's that over there?
Yeah, there's the same type of resistance. It's very muted. It's not like you don't protest, but you just.
I just let it.
It's like, you're waiting for it to fizzle and die because you don't want to do it.
You're so right. Yeah.
Yeah, like me when you ask if I want to dance, like, well, I would, but I got to go get a drink first.
Yeah, let me hold that
on.
thought.
Yeah, I'll go do this other thing.
I only dance to this song that's on. It's almost over, but I need a drink first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like with Avid Edge, you know, I did that coming from the heart. I made that company coming from the heart.
Are you at all concerned about exposing that? Like,
no, I
don't
want
think
that
that's
to be. I'm willing to go there. I'm willing to be edgy. There's like 3 audiences for AvidEdge. So those of you who don't know, look it up. AvidEdge is a retained executive search firm, and we only do technology leaders. And the reason why is you look around, there is so much pressure on technology leaders in a company.
Yes.
They are asked to know the current technology, to know the old technology, to know the integration, to know where the technology is going, to know how
And it's so
to answer
broad.
business operations, to train business operations on IT. Oh, and by the way, they also have to be great human leaders, and they have to be great budgetary people, and they have to be the translator of all technical things in the entire company.
It seems like too much.
And I love my CFO friends. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like, I love my CFO friends, but honestly, CFO.
Yeah.
They honestly, their jobs, the CEO would very much like to sit down with them and talk about the P&L and the balance sheet and the cash and all of that. But those kinds of things are pretty easy to do comparatively, right?
I would agree.
So
the technology
I want to
leader
be an
has
advocate for that, so that as we move forward in technology, we're doing it ethically. We're doing it without putting
And it's
one
so
person
broad
in
and
the
diverse
middle.
right now.
Yes.
It's so broad and diverse, yes.
And then on top of that, I feel like for that to happen properly, I feel like business leaders in a company need to be more tech literate. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a litmus test for me, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if I ask a CEO, what was the last time they met with their CIO, and was the last time they met with their CFO? Almost always it's the CFO. Yep. And it's more frequently the CFO. And what that means is
they're chumming it up on the golf course and shit.
They did their MBA, they know finance, they know balance sheets, they know what to ask their CFOs to inform them about projections, how they talk to their board, all of those things, right? It's all about money. But the truth is that most companies, I don't care if you make a widget or you sell a service, the backbone of your success is your technology.
Totally.
And so I want CEOs to be able to be more tech literate, right?
Yeah.
And so in a sense, I want to highlight tech literate CEOs.
Okay.
And bring them forward and show others what it means to be a partner with technology especially in a non-technology company.
Right, because even a non-technology, it's probably almost easier for a tech company to understand what you're talking about than a non-tech company that just relies heavily on technology to do their work.
Yeah,
right?
Especially like one that's been steeped in tradition, right? Like, no offense to any of these, because I know some great leaders in any of these, but like a Thrivent has been around for like 200 years.
We're naming names now, are we?
Right. Well, Thrivent's a very solid company that's been around for hundreds of years, has done various different things to be innovative. I know a lot of them. They have done a lot of work to be innovative in a culture that is traditional.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And there are a lot of companies that have had to grow up out of the idea that the thing they do is fill in the blank. Because the thing they do is not going to happen with as much attention into technology. And I would even challenge entrepreneurs in that sense too, right?
Right.
So entrepreneurs, they think, oh, we have a service, we sell this thing, or we sell this product, or we do e-commerce, that they're not thinking how powerful the technology piece could be.
How large a part of the company it.
And I think it's really important, but it's also... if you're a non-tech person, like say you create a product, and you're a non-techie person that created that product, like it's a widget, it's a thing, it's a scissors, right?
Yep.
It's like not very techie. It's a thing. It's like not very techie. But it is hard for you to choose the partners that will help you get that scissors sold in the marketplace. Because there's hundreds of AI and salespeople coming toward you saying, we can solve that problem. We know what problem you have.
Oh, I get it all the time.
We can solve that problem. We can solve that problem.
I get email
we can
after
solve
email.
That problem.
LinkedIn hits me all the time too, like nonstop.
And so a poor entrepreneur organization who doesn't have a lot of technical ability, doesn't really understand what that means.
How to employ technology to sell their widget.
To sell their widget.
Yeah.
without relying upon the company that's selling you the service to teach you what it can do.
Right. And so if a reporter comes and asks you questions about shit like this, do you think you could get a little fired up and passionate and maybe answer their questions?
Okay, I'll try.
Do you think you maybe could?
I could try.
Yeah, because because you just did it. Like, I don't even know what I said. And the next thing you know, but all of that is in you.
It is, and it's
the reason
it's not. I am not shy in saying it, and
You're
I can bullshit like
hyper-passionate.
anybody, but I am not shy in saying it because I know these as truths. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like your passion didn't come through, okay? That's why you are the leader of the company that you're the leader of. That's why Avid Edge is your company. And when you just said all of that, that is a passionate advocate for the thing that you're doing and the company that you run.
Yeah. And it all stems from creating better diversity in companies so that they thrive. Because diversity is the biggest thing. And I'm not even talking about racial diversity, although that is a big deal in technology.
It is, but
I'm talking about
is
diversity of voice,
Yeah.
diversity of input, diversity of thought and perspective, and do it fast. Because if you take your time picking and choosing the diversity that comes to your table, you will have lost the potential of years and years of diversity.
You know what? I remember a while back, there was this sort of initiative of, like, if you're making 20 hires in a department or something, hire one at least who has nothing to do with that department, with that kind of work, with like completely outside of that realm.
Yeah.
To get a diversity of opinion or thought, right?
But then realize that you've done that and don't attack that person for not having that background.
I think it's all bullshit. I don't think they actually do it.
No, it's too hard because it slows process down, right? If we have a homogeneous decision-making group, it's like, what do you think of this idea? Yes? Awesome. What do you think of it? Awesome. What do you think of it?
They're all
awesome.
yes
They're all
people.
yes people. They're like, that's an awesome idea. Let's move forward. We're going to move our ideas forward, but we're not going to have enough diversity in that decision to make that idea apply to a larger population or serve a population or not discriminate against good paying customers.
This is intrapreneurship too,
Yes.
right? And I think that there is I think when I saw that stuff, I should fill out an application at some huge company, for some position that I'm not even close to qualified for, in a department that I don't even know what the fucking acronym means,
Right. Yeah. You should definitely do that.
Yes. But when I saw that type of initiative or the people, like talking about that, I thought, bullshit. Like you will not do this. These companies will not even risk that much. And it's not even a real risk for them.
Right.
Like the reward that you could get for having a slight diversity in your opinion there, that's the kind of diversity you're talking about. Not the racial political.
And it might be racial.
It might be racial. Yeah.
It could be racial, and it is and
it should
gender.
be. Right? Gender, all of it.
All of those things. We've seen some negative byproducts of not having diversity in those decision making.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of that. So.
I
but
like
that's
it
not
though.
so much. I'm not on the fear side of this argument, right?
No, I
I'm
totally.
on the freaking potential side of this argument.
I think that's great.
I'm on the potential side of having diversity in opinion. And yes, a decision might take a little longer because you got to hash and rehash and understand different ideas.
But making decisions should
need to
be
understand the inputs.
Sort of troubling in a way. Like if you're going to make good decisions, you should consider the multiple different options.
So make your process fast where you consider diverse opinions so that you have quick decision making, and that is important in companies.
I think that challenges them.
Need diversity.
Yeah, it's too hard and challenging for them sometimes, but I completely agree with you that it is.
You and I have done the same thing. We've partnered with people that provide us a diversity in who we are.
Totally.
Like we're a couple of white people, right?
Are we?
Well,
a couple middle-aged white folks.
Mostly.
Truly, yes. Deeply.
I did get my 23andMe, and I've got
Oh, don't say it. Oh, don't say it. Don't say it.
Sub-Saharan African.
Oh,
I do.
We all do.
I know,
If
but
this-
I just wanted to point out that
Oh God, yeah, because that makes you.
makes me nothing.
You got a little bit of your
I have
diversity.
this weird balance between I have about 36% Slovenian
Okay.
in me. Like that would be, to everyone who doesn't know what that means, is like Croatia, Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
And then another about equal, maybe a little bit less, but almost equal. Great Britain,
Okay.
British and Slovenian.
Okay.
That seems like someone
Not
who
Norse?
came from a northern. No, I know it seems like I do, but I don't.
Well-
coming from a northern European place to the warmth of La Slovenia, and then like
Oh.
meeting someone on vacation, and maybe they,
I doubt that was it.
Oh, okay.
But I think it was probably more about conquest and whatever.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that it is generally BS when people say that they're going to do like these diversity initiatives and cultural initiatives within companies. But I think it's
You know what? Tell me the story in retrospect. Let's go back to the beginning of this conversation. Tell me the story in retrospect. Keep trying to bring diversity in. And then 5 years from now, tell me the story about how well you're doing because
Yeah.
you did that diversity
I
trend.
think it's
like,
awesome
it's
that you're-
hard to say today the impact. You can't be a political cycle leader in a company and say, I did this thing, this major thing, because that impact is going to be another 5 years from now.
And that goes right back to entrepreneurship in general, right?
Yeah.
Which is planting a seed that doesn't exist and watching it
Exactly.
grow, right? And so the unsexy thing to do is to bring about some sort of change within your company that you don't get the credit for because you got to wait for the thing to grow up so you can sit in the shade of it, right? This is the whole
Exactly.
thing about trees.
Exactly.
And so there's some saying, and I will screw this up badly.
Well, let's give it a let's
give it a go, shall we?
Let's see how bad you screw it up.
Yeah, it's something about like the most enlightened people are those who plant a seed under whose shade they'll never see or whatever. Like people who
Right.
Agreed.
When's the best time to plant a tree? 30 years ago.
30 years ago is right. Yes.
You're not going to plant that tree 30 years ago. But
Yeah,
that's
and
the best time to plant.
and if you care about the health of the space, so think of whatever it is. If you want there to be a nice tree there 40, 50 years from now, you may not be around to see it. You may not, but your children or your grandchildren or whatever. And that would be the same. That's a really tricky one for companies
Yeah.
to think in those terms because they're constantly beholden to a board or a shareholder or a group of shareholders, and they're constantly driven toward, but show me where this makes us dollars today,
Yeah.
right? And that's why, you got very passionate about that whole thing, and I think that you need to get that out into the world. So let's not be afraid to dance
Okay.
with the journalists.
That's
Okay? I'll go dancing
Okay.
with journalists.
okay.
With you. Becking them out on the floor. Come on.
Come on, let's dance.
Come on, journalists.
Let's dance.
Yeah, and then you see they do that face. You have a, this is the way I get people
Come
to
on,
dance
come
with
on,
me.
come on.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's crushing me.
I need a drink. I need to go to the bar for a drink.
No.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you kind of put me on the spot there. That makes it
good.
It helps me. And I don't think I'm quite there how I'm tentative about that, but I am. And I'm willing to break some barriers.
You have to. You're doing something and it's cool. Like that just needs to get out there somewhere. And I understand. I have no idea how press works. I think I have some insight. I do. I have some little tiny bit of insight into.
Think?
I think so. Mm-hmm. And what I think is that people who end up kind of being media darlings or whatever, they end up in the media, they have friends who write shit. Like it's nepotism, basically.
Yeah.
I think the people who get elevated in those circumstances are people who are already being pushed along through that system and elevated because of the connections they have. And in your case, I would say, like, someone's got to, whether it's you or a friend, someone's got to say, hey, everybody, like all you writers, you people who are doing this shit, like, would you look at this one for a second? You know, and I think there are others like you who don't ever get that little bit of elevation that they rightly deserve because they just don't know the right people and they don't hang out in the right circles and they don't seek it out, you know.
Or maybe they don't even recognize, I say, as I'm a third person, recognize that what they're saying has impact.
It's
like has meaning, like could make impact.
It does have
or
impact.
Anyone gives a shit about it. Let's be clear.
I know. Well, that's the imposter syndrome part, right?
Right.
That I understand. But it's, no, I mean, what you're trying to do, what Avid Edge is trying to do with CTOs and CIOs or whatever, but really, like you said, with the CEO as well, like you're going full circle with it because you want to take, you don't just want to find a good candidate and throw them to the wolves. Here's your thing. You also take them in and you help adjust that culture to meet that person, understand that person, and make sure that they can work with the other folks in the company. That's really what you do, right?
Right.
That is an important thing. And you
it
put a
is
lot
an
of
important
effort
thing.
into this and you're good at what you're doing. So you deserve someone saying, hey. So I would say that is, we're turning it back to a lesson.
I can hardly wait to see what the lesson is.
No, I would say, I think that press coverage and stuff like that favors the bold in a certain way.
Yeah.
And so if you're an entrepreneur, and I think this happens with new entrepreneurs all the time, they're good at the thing that they're good at. And they're good at doing certain parts of the owning of a business. And then the rest of it, there's sort of an assumption that it'll just happen. Like, I think a lot of young, not necessarily age-wise, but young in entrepreneurship folks, you know, new to entrepreneurship, they think, like, I'm so damn good at this thing that I'm good at. If I just hang this shingle up over here, people will just find me, right? And then turns out you don't really know anything about search engine optimization, and even if you did, what the H is it? Yeah, what does it actually get you? And then you're flooded with these emails of like, I can get you 9,000% more business in 67 minutes. You know, like you're like, whoa,
9,000.
Yeah, and they're like, so much business. But the truth is, and I think this is true for you and Avid Edge, in some ways you have to advocate for yourself a little bit, and you have to, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, you have to go out and say, hey, everybody, I need you to look at me for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, like, it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't.
But I want you to look at me, and I want to answer some questions, and I want you to write a little article about me.
Yeah, and I'm willing to be wrong, you know?
I think we worked through it. I don't know what we worked through.
I think that we should reemphasize that we are bringing on this big segment for What About This Idea. Before we get the 1-800 number up.
I love it.
Yeah, that I don't
God,
even
I can't
know
wait.
will exist.
It's definitely going to be a 1-800 number.
You can email Sam or I. We've already got some great ideas. We want to hear yours. Let us know if you want us to be anonymous, or you want to maybe
you can do it anonymously.
Believe in this idea so much, you want us to hook you up with maybe a funder or a beta program or something.
Okay, and let's be fair about it, right? I think a lot of people new to entrepreneurship also worry that someone's going to steal their idea.
Exactly.
Right?
Nobody's going to steal your idea.
Believe me, the idea part is the easiest part of it.
Yeah.
Unless your idea is a patentable, I think I said that right. think I enunciated it correctly. Unless it's like, a new design for an airplane wing or something. Don't give us all the specs on that.
No.
An idea for a business, people do not steal them.
They don't steal them, and it's funny because I know
can't.
this is a common older person example.
Oh.
But the beta, you remember when VHS first came out, kids?
Oh.
And it was
Beta
also
first.
beta first. Beta was actually a better technology.
Yeah.
Right? They shared their technology.
All the beta lovers loved it.
Yeah, it was a better technology, but VHS did a better job of being business owners.
Of marketing.
Not just marketing, they made partnerships. They made
Gotcha. Just better business owners.
better.
in general.
They made partnerships with the equipment manufacturers, and they also made partnerships with, at the time, the distributors of the film. And it was like there was no getting around it. We had VHS. So think of your idea as a VHS idea. It may not be the best idea, but if you learn the business techniques that others will tell you in their stories on our show and all around.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Bringing it back.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
So give us your ideas.
Okay, and for
let's see if we can plant them with you and for you. And this is not Shark Tank. We don't give a shit about what happens, but we care about you, right? Like we're not going to take any of your ownership or anything, but we love sprouting seeds. Let's get those seeds
this is where
sprouted.
that's going. You're totally right.
Yeah.
Our live events are going to be events where you maybe come in and learn from someone like how to get started on some part of it. Like I think so much has changed in the world of early entrepreneurship stuff where like business plan and pitch deck and all of these things that used to be like the most important thing that you had to do. A lot of that's changed in certain ways.
Yes.
So when we have live events, we're going to be having people presenting information that can really help you get a start, right? But yes, the ideas, and for you Gen Z and Gen Alpha folks, VHS it was a thing about this big.
They've already Googled it.
with movies in it.
You don't have to explain
And the movie went around and around. Some reader, magnetic thing, you put it in there. No one could program the clock. It's all that stuff. But anyway, God, you remember those days.
So bad. And the thing we get like caught in the thing.
Oh, and you'd be like, I want to tape.
Shit, it's
I want
like
to tape
3/4 of the way through.
Friends next Wednesday at 11. Can you?
Do you remember the investment you would do in okay, let's take it a little forward, DVDs.
Oh yeah.
I have thousands of dollars worth of DVDs.
We do too.
Yeah,
And now it's like, oh, they're all digitized, are they? We rebought them all on Amazon Prime or whatever.
You do what?
We rebought all the kids' movies.
Oh yeah, they're all
even though we
rebought.
own them all.
Yeah.
Already, we already bought them once.
Here's probably the trajectory of that. Like, okay, we hang on to them because it was a big investment. You hang on to them. You hang on to your DVD player, in case you want to watch.
You can still buy one.
What is the Princess Bride?
Oh.
You should watch that lots.
As you wish. Yep.
Right? You hang on to them, and then finally your kids are like, what in the hell do you have all these DVDs? And they get rid of them, and then 1 year later, they're worth $1 million.
Yep.
So.
That is the way it works. Yes.
All right, the wine bottle's gone.
Okay, yeah, let's be done with this.
This is done.
Let's be done.
I love a good couch session.
I liked it too.
But I'm also very excited about our guests coming up.
We have
CEOs of healthcare companies.
Maybe this can kind of be our intro to season 2.
Yeah.
Two?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have some really great guests.
Yes.
What we like, and we've been purposeful about this in a certain way, is we have some fancy people. Mm-hmm. Is that a bad way of saying that? I don't know, but they're fancy. They've got great careers.
I don't know what you mean by fancy, but
they're like
successful.
Yeah,
they're on this success high right now.
Well, and I hesitate because like even people, there's this weird spectrum. Like the person who runs the big company that they started, that was a super entrepreneur, right? That is elevated success, correct? But then you've got like the person who owns the sandwich shop that they're also an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And they are successful in the sense they employ 7 people, and their shop does just fine.
And they got a great family, and their kids are happy, and they homeschool,
Yes, and
or whatever it is.
And
right?
I love that we can touch both ends of
Yes.
the spectrum with our show.
Because they're both as important and almost as hard.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Right. True. So stay tuned for second season. Lots of great guests coming up. I know you can't wait for another couch episode with the 2 of us. Just
send your ideas.
Send us your ideas.
We don't plan anything.
Steve in Saskatchewan, we wish you the best.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
You made a big difference on the start of this show. If we didn't have Steve, we would have nothing to have
Good luck with
started
your
the
new
show
business. We think your idea is great.
I do think it's great. I think Steve is going to be a big success. I think we should bring him on the show.
It's the Hooferator 9000 or whatever.
Hooferator.
You just throw the hoof in there and it's done. Brand new hoof. Anyway, thanks again for joining us. We've loved having you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. We are super excited about season 2. We're just building. We're making it bigger. And you've really driven that. Thank you.